Hi there, and welcome back. If you read the title, you know what we're going to be doing today. Genesis chapter 4, verse 1. And if you like, if you like this, comment, share, and subscribe. And let's get this started with Genesis chapter 4. Now Adam had sexual relationships with his wife, Eve, and she became pregnant. When the Lord when she gave birth to Cain, she said, "With the Lord's help, I have produced a man." Later she gave birth to his brother and named him Abel. When they grew up, Abel became a shepherd, while Cain cultivated the ground. Emma said the ground. When it was time for the harvest, Cain presented some of his crops as a gift to the Lord. Abel also brought a gift of the best portions of the firstborn lambs from his flock. The Lord accepted Abel and his gift, but he did not accept Cain and his gift. This made Cain very angry, and he looked dejected. "Why are you so angry?" The Lord asked Cain. "Why are you so dejected? You will be accepted if you do what is right, but if you refuse to do what is right, then watch out. Sin is crouching at your door, eager to control you, but you must subdue it and be its master." One day, Cain suggested to his brother, "Let's go into the fields." And while they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. Afterward, the Lord asked Cain, "Where is your brother? Where is Abel?" I don't know," Cain responded. "Am I my brother's guardian?" But the Lord said, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out for me from the ground. Now I will curse, now you are cursed and banished from the ground, which has swallowed your brother's blood. No longer will the ground yield good crops for you, no matter how hard you work. From now on, you will be homeless, wanderer on the earth." Cain replied to the Lord, "My punishment is too great for me to bear. You, you have banished me from the land in your presence. You have made me a homeless wanderer. Anyone who finds me will kill me." The Lord replied, "No, for I will give a sevenfold punishment to anyone who kills you." Then the Lord put a mark on Cain to wonder to warn anyone who might try to kill him. So Cain left the Lord's presence and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. I forgot how to say that. Cain had sexual relations with his wife, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Then Cain found a city which he named Enoch after his son. After his son, Enoch had a son named Ired. Ired became a father of Methuselah. Methuselah became father of Methuselah. Methuselah. Methuselah became father of Lamech. Lamech married two women. The first was named Ada, and the second was Zillah. Ada gave birth to Jubal, uh, who was the first to raise livestock and lived in tents. His brother's name was Jubal, the first of all who played the harp and flute. Other wife, Zillah, gave birth to Tablu King. He came he became an expert at forging tools of bronze and iron. Tubal Cain had a sister named Nama. One day, Lamech said to his wives Ada and Zillah, "Hear my voice, listen to me. You wives of Lamech, I have killed a man who attacked me, a young man who wounded me. If someone who kills Cain, his punishment is 7 times then who then the one who kills me will be punished 77 times. Adam had sexual relationships with his wife again, and she gave birth to another son. She named him Seth, for she for she said, God has granted me another son in place of Abel, whom Cain killed. When Seth grew up, he had a son named Enosh. Enosh. At the time, people began to worship the Lord by name. This was written. This was written account of descendants of Adam. When God created human beings, He made them to be like Himself. He created the male and female, and He blessed them and called them human. When Adam was 130 years old, he became a father of a son who was just like him, in the very image. He named his son Seth. After the birth of Seth, Adam lived for another 800 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Adam lived 930 years old and then died. When Seth was 105 years old, he became a father of Enosh. After the birth of Enosh, Seth lived another 807 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Seth lived 912 years old, and he died. When Enosh was 90 years old, he became a father of Kenya. After the birth of Kenya, Enosh lived 815 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Enosh lived 905 years old, and then he died. When Kenya was 70, he became a father of Methuselah. After the birth of Methuselah, in Kenya lived another 840 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Kenneth lived 910 years old, and he died. When Methuselah was 65 years old, he became the father of Jared. After the birth of Jared, Methuselah lived another 830 years old, and he had sons and daughters. Methuselah lived 895 years old, and he died. When Jared was 162 years old, he became the father of Enoch. After the birth of Enoch, Jared lived another 800 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Jared lived 962 years old, and he died. When Enoch was 65 years old, he became the father of Methuselah. After the birth of Methuselah, Enoch lived in close fellowship with God for another 300 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Enoch lived 365 years, walked in close fellowship with God, and one day he disappeared because God took him. When Methuselah was 187 years old, he became a father of Lamech. After the birth of Lamech, Methuselah lived another 782 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Methuselah lived 969 years, and then he died. When Lamech was 182 years old, he became the father of Lamech, and Lamech named his son Noah. For he is for he has said, "May he bring us relief from our work in the painful labors of farming of the ground that the Lord has cursed." After the birth of Noah, Lamech lived another 559 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Lamech lived 777 years, and he died. After Noah was 500 years old, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Then the people began to multiply on the earth, and the sons and the daughters were born to them, and the sons of God saw the beautiful women and took them as wanted. They took any they wanted as their wives. Then the Lord said, My spirit will not put up with humans for such a long time, for they are only mortal flesh. In the future, their lifespan will be no more than 120 years. In those days, in some and for some time after, giant Nephilim lived on the earth. For whenever the sons of God had intercourse with women, they gave birth to children who became the heroes and famous warriors of ancient time. The Lord observed an extended of human wickedness on the earth, and he saw that everything that he thought or imagined was constantly and totally evil. So the Lord was sorry that he had ever made them and put them on the earth. It broke his heart, and the Lord said, I will wipe this human race that I created from the face of the earth. Yes, I will destroy every living thing, all the people, the large animals, the small that scurry along the ground, and every bird of the sky. I am sorry that I have ever made them. But Noah found favor with the Lord. This is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man, the only blameless person on earth at the time, and he walked with close fellowship with God. Noah was the father of three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now God saw that the earth had become corrupt and filled with violence. God observed all the corruption in the world, for everyone on earth was corrupted. So God said to Noah, I have decided to destroy all living creatures, for this is filled with the earth of for they have filled the earth with violence. Yes, I will wipe out them all out along with the earth. Built a boat in the cypress from cypress wood and bulletproof and waterproof it with tar inside and out. Then construct decks and install throughout its interior. Make the boat 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. Leave a 18-inch opening below the roof all the way around the boat, and put the door on the side, and build three decks inside the boat, lower, middle, and upper. Look, I am about to cover the earth with a flood, and that will destroy every living thing that breathes. Everything on earth will die, but I will comfort I will confirm my covenant with you. So enter the boat, you and your wife, your sons and their wives. Bring a pair of every kind of animal, male, female, into the boat with you to keep them alive during the flood. Pairs of every kind of bird, every kind of animal, every kind of small animal that scurries along the ground will come to you to keep alive, to be kept alive. And be sure to take on board enough food for your family and all the animals. So Noah that did everything exactly as God had commanded him to. Whoa. Ah, oh, that was something. So in these chapters, I did notice some things that did connect with each other. Like in the beginning of chapter 4, I noticed that Cain was angry with his brother because of the jealousy. God told him to be slow to the anger and do not let this overcome him. Basically, don't let it be your master. Subdue it. And one thing I did notice from these two passages is that when Cain got angry at his brother from jealousy, he slew his brother. But in here, you can see that God is also angry with humanity, but he doesn't slew them right away. Later on, I think in the next chapter, it talks about how God waited for a pretty long time to actually build the ark. Until no one finished the ark, yeah, God never striked anyone down. But I kind of saw the comparison between how Cain failed to control his anger and how God, you can actually see he does control his anger in this pretty much in the same situation. I mean, at this time, you had God that's basically choosing between justice right now, and he wants to choose basically mercy. And he basically chose mercy for Noah and justice for the rest of humanity. Yeah. Another thing that I did notice that I didn't say yesterday was actually the days. So when God said to Adam, "When you eat the fruit, you will surely die," and in the old Hebrew text, day kind of means a certain amount of time. So to God, a day would be 1,000 years, probably even longer. So that's why most people in this passage, basically the genealogy of Adam and Noah, and basically down the line you'll see others, how at the beginning they all lived for 900 years, 700 years, 600 years. To God, that is considered more like a day to him than a lot of other people. That and well, there's actually a lot of theories to that. One of them was actually that that's how long a day to God is. Another is that the bodies that were created for Adam and Eve and the rest of the early humans was too perfect that most diseases would not hurt them. And another one that has diseases never actually existed at that point. But these are just pretty much theories for right now. But these are kind of things that I did started noticing more about the Bible and kind of like started jumping around more recently. Other than that, this is something that I still kind of shows God's character. He's very merciful. He's very merciful to humans at the beginning, even though he still pretty much wipes out all of humanity. But all it took was Noah's one little. All it took was just Noah. Without Noah, none of us would have been here. But that's all it took. Noah was spared, and from then on, God promised that He will never ever do that, and created a covenant with pretty much Noah and all of his descendants from here on out. That He will never do this again, and that's why there's a rainbow usually depicted in these. But yeah, that'll be it, and I'll see you all tomorrow.